Have you ever had a wood screw that just keeps spinning and won't grab? Maybe it's a hinge screw or a door strike plate that came loose, and no matter what you do, the screw won't hold. Well, we all know about tricks like using toothpicks or golf keys or matchsticks, maybe small dowels. But what if you don't have those available to you right now? Today, I'm going to test 8 different ways to fix a stripped screw hole using just everyday materials that you probably already have right around the house or your workshop. Plus, I'll show you a simple trick to remove a screw that just keeps spinning and won't come out. And at the end, we're stress testing each repair with weights and a pry bar to see which one will actually hold the best and be a permanent fix for you. So stick around, you don't want to miss this. Now before we start fixing the hole, let's quickly talk about how to remove a screw that just is spinning and won't come out. So first of all, take your drill or your screwdriver if you're using one and tilt it slightly to the side as you unscrew. This creates just enough sideways force or pressure to help the threads grab. So the first method, number one, we're going to use good old baking soda and super glue. So all we do is we just take the baking soda. I'm going to put a little bit down in there, and this is nice because 2 reasons. One, it works super quick. So we pour a little baking soda, and I'll put some super glue in there, pour some more baking soda and super glue, and then do this a few times. And then once it's dry, we're going to drill a new pilot hole and install the screw, see how it works. Okay, so method number 2, good old Bondo body filler. So we're going to take the Bondo and mix some of the cream hardener with it, and I want to use this piece of wire to go ahead and stick it down in the hole to make sure it gets all the way down at the bottom and fill this hole up. All these tests, I'm going to let them sit for 24 hours to give them all a fair chance to see how it holds together. So we've mixed this together, then we're going to pre-drill this like the other one, and then reinstall the screw and then give it the stress test. Okay, so number 3, we're going to use sawdust. We're going to go ahead and try it and see how it holds up to the stress test. So let's mix this together, and I'll use this to go ahead and fill inside the hole. We'll get the hole filled up, let it dry, then we're going to drill it and install the screw. Okay, and number 4, when I was grabbing some of my other things, my glue, I saw my hot glue gun. I thought, you know what, let's test this out. So let's go ahead and squirt this inside, fill this up, and we're going to let it cool completely, 24 hours. We'll pre-drill it, and then we'll check the hold of it. Okay, so number 5, we're going to try steel wool and super glue. The nice thing about this is that it's not real messy, and you can see here, we just pull off little pieces, kind of roll them up, shove them down the hole, and I use this wire to keep pushing them down there, add some super glue, put more inside there, and just keep putting it in there, and adding the super glue, and the little pieces that stick out just come off real quick. So it's a real fast, quick method of filling the hole up, and we're going to test it also to see how it holds up on the stress test. Now number 6, this has been around for years. I'm sure a lot of you have used it, the Weld epoxy. Let's put some of this inside the hole. Let it dry, pre-drill it just like the other ones, and let's test it. The one thing about the Weld is you do have to mix it together. Make sure you get the same amount of both of the tubes. Mix them together real good. On this one here, you need to let it dry for 4 to 6 hours. But we're going to do the overnight, the 24 hours, just to give it a fair chance. Okay, number 7 is the good old fluted dowels. I've heard people say the reason they put the flutes or the ridges on here is so that it doesn't spin. That is not the reason they put this on here. The reason they put this on here is to allow any air to escape, and that way you have room for glue. Let me show you what happens if you don't have your hole the right size. Don't worry about making it a super tight fit, because especially if you're working on a door jamb and you don't drill out that hole to make it a little bit bigger to fit the size of dowel that you have. Yep, that's right. now you've really got some problems. Normally I would use wood glue. I thought, well, let's go ahead and try super glue. We're going to put the dowel in there, use super glue, let it sit to 24 hours again, and we're going to see how that holds up. Okay, for our last test, test number 8, it's good old plastic wall anchors. If you haven't seen one of my other videos on drywall anchors and testing them, I'll put a link to it up here. And take a look at that. You'll see some real good drywall anchors and what to do if one of them fails and how to repair it. Anyway, but I wanted this to be a quick fix also, so we're going to use the super glue on it. Now if you look at these, on the very top of them they have a ridge or a rim. So when you put these in, if you don't want that sticking above the wood, you need to countersink your hole. So we did that. That way it's below the surface and it's not sticking up, and you don't want to get in the way of if it's your door hinge or whatever. So we did that, put the super glue on it. Let's put it in there and see how this is going to hold after 24 hours. Alright, so now it's the fun part. The final stress test. Which one holds the best? I've got my dumbbell here, which I can adjust the weights on them. That way we'll test it, each one at a different weight, and then we'll just keep going and see which one fails first and which one holds the longest. Let's get ready. Let's go ahead and start on the first one. Number 1. Okay, so I've got them all set up here. I'm doing every other one at first just because I'm using this flat bar. And I'm going to put it inside here, just like we'd be prying it out. And then I'm going to set the weights on top of here, and we'll see which one passes the test. I also put my knee pad down here just so that in case it falls. So we're going to start out with 20 pounds, and I'm going to put them all in the same place. Well, baking soda and super glue didn't handle even 20 pounds. So that was a fail. Okay, number 2, the sawdust and carpenter's glue. $20 pounds. Look at there. It holds 20 pounds. All right. Steel wool and super glue. $20 pounds. The wood dowel with super glue. £20. Okay, now we're going to work up to 25 pounds, and let's just see if the sawdust and carpenter's glue holds 25 pounds. £25, no problem. Steel wool and super glue. 25 pounds. 25 pounds. The dowel with super glue. 25 pounds. Okay, let's move it up. Now 25 pounds would pass just about any test. I'm going to move up to 35 pounds. So let's start with the dowel and the super glue. 35 pounds. Look at that, 35 pounds. Steel wool and super glue. 35 pounds. £35 is holding. That is surprising. Sawdust with carpenter's glue. £35. Should we try 45? Let's try 45. Okay, 45 pounds, the sawdust and carpenter's glue. Hope it didn't break the board or bend the... It's hard to hold on now. Well, I think it just pulled this out. No, it pulled it out. 45 pounds. Let's try the steel wool. It held it for a while. I can hear it coming. $45 pounds. Steel wool super glue. There it is. Wow, 45 pounds. That held better than the sawdust and the carpenter's glue. Okay, the dowel with the super glue. 45 pounds. It's sliding because it's bending the bar. 45 pounds. I think that's pretty fair. Okay, 50 pounds. I'm afraid it's going to bend the bar. 50 pounds, the dowel with the super glue. It holds. I'm afraid to leave it too long because it's like a springboard. Steel wool and super glue. 50 pounds. Whoop. Steel wool and super glue didn't hold 50 pounds. So far, the dowel with the super glue is our winner, but let's test the rest of them. Okay, so we've got still in the running Bondo, hot glue, JB Weld, and the plastic anchor with super glue. So I moved it to 25 pounds. Let's put it underneath the Bondo. 25 pounds. Are you ready? No. Wouldn't even hold 25 pounds. The Bondo pulled out right away. So that's a fail. Hot glue, 25 pounds. Nope. Hot glue pulled right out. JB Weld. I know some of you guys are rooting for JB. 25 pounds. Not a problem. Let's try the plastic anchor with super glue. Oh, look at that. The plastic anchor with super glue is holding the 25 pounds. Okay, we've got 35 pounds now. Put 10 more. So the plastic anchor with super glue, 35 pounds. There you go. It's holding. JB Weld, 35 pounds. Oh, look at that. 35 pounds of JB Weld failed. The plastic anchor held more than the JB Weld. Plastic anchor with super glue. So let's try the 50 pounds. We've got one 50-pound winner. Okay, plastic anchor with super glue, 50 pounds. Nope. Pulled out. So there it goes. The dowel with the super glue. Look at that. Well, now you know how each one held up against the stress test. Very interesting. So just to show you what a screw in regular wood without being stripped out, let's put the 50 pounds on it. And that obviously should hold. Okay, ready? There you go, 50 pounds. Okay. Well, if this video was helpful to you, give me a thumbs up and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, that you can be up to date on the latest ways of doing home repair or DIY projects around your house. And don't forget to see some of my other videos that might be just the video you need for the project that you're working on. And don't forget to leave a comment. We all learn from each other. So thanks for watching. You take care, and as always, God bless.